Experienced Houston asset protection attorney, the law office of Whitney L. Thompson. When you work long and hard in the pursuit of financial stability, you deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor and live a comfortable life. Whether you have acquired properties, established an investment portfolio, or built your own business, protecting your assets in order for you and your family to continue to benefit from your hard work is in your best interests. Working to prevent asset loss by eliminating potential liabilities is the most effective when you plan ahead. Consulting with an experienced Houston estate lawyer who has the necessary financial and legal knowledge is beneficial. Skilled Houston asset protection attorney Whitney L. Thompson and our team at the law office of Whitney L. Thompson may be able to assist you in exploring your options for asset protection. Contact us today at 281-214-0173 to schedule a consultation. What is asset protection planning and how does it prevent the loss of assets? Asset protection planning involves using a set of strategies that aim to insulate your assets from the risk of loss. Asset protection can defend your assets from liabilities or the possibility of seizure by interested parties. With an asset protection strategy in place, it can be easier to ensure the seamless transfer of your assets to your loved ones as well as any resulting tax implications. Understanding what is considered an asset is important. While all assets are resources that have economic value, the types of assets that you have in your financial profile will help determine which legal and financial asset protection strategies you should consider using in your plan. Assets can either be tangible or intangible and hold economic value on their own or facilitate cash flow and generate income. Assets can fall under the following types. 1. Real assets, or physical assets that carry an economic value based on their substance. Real estate, buildings, motor vehicles, and commodities such as jewelry or antiques are considered real assets. 2. Financial assets are liquid assets that have a value based on an ownership claim or a contractual right. Stocks, insurance policies, investment accounts, and cash itself are considered financial assets. 3. Intangible assets are properties that have economic value but are not physical in nature. Patents, copyrights, trademarks, and intellectual property are considered intangible assets. The risk of losing assets can be proportional to acquiring more assets, meaning that creditors are more likely to take advantage and sue you for a claim on your assets when they know that they can get a high value if they win. By setting up additional legal measures, you can make it harder for creditors to set a claim on your property and also allow you to be protected against possible losses from tax liability. Determining the asset protection plan that's right for you. The state of Texas has a baseline asset protection law with provisions that protect specific assets from being claimed by creditors in legal disputes. These assets include 1. A person's homestead or their primary land and residence. 2. Personal property up to a certain market value. 3. Insurance policies, college funds, and 401ks. Under Texas law, the value of real property protected against creditors is measured in acreage rather than the market value of the land. If you own land that is 200 acres or less, a creditor cannot sue for a claim on your land regardless if your land is worth $200,000 or $10 million. If a person lives in the city, they can be eligible for an exemption for an additional 10 acres of urban property. However, if the person is not married, they will only be eligible for an exemption of 100 acres of rural property. For families, up to $60,000 of personal property is exempt from claims by creditors, while unmarried individuals can be exempt up to $30,000. This can include property such as home furnishings, jewelry, livestock, motor vehicles, athletic equipment, and 2 guns. It should be noted that the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, can and does claim such properties and does not need to adhere to state exemptions as a federal agency. The exemptions under the Texas Homestead Law only apply to creditors seeking a claim on your property. Finding the right asset protection plan depends on the kind of liabilities or risks you expect to have in the future. While voluntary asset loss can happen when you donate, give, sell off, or spend your assets, involuntary asset loss often comes as a result of legal disputes. The following legal disputes can result in involuntary asset loss: filing for bankruptcy, getting a divorce, applying for Medicare, Medicaid, irresponsible financial practices, professional liability, Houston asset protection strategies. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to asset protection. Your specific asset protection plan should take into account your specific financial profile, the kinds of assets that you own, and, most importantly, the kinds of risk that you could face. At the law office of Whitney L. Thompson, our skilled Houston asset protection attorneys can evaluate your financial situation and build an asset protection plan that fits your needs. Irrevocable trusts. Putting your assets into an irrevocable trust can be a good way to facilitate asset protection. Creditors will only be able to sue for possessions you hold under your name. With an irrevocable trust, you as a grantor surrender ownership of your assets into the trust and allow a trustee to manage your assets for you. As assets under an irrevocable trust are no longer under your control, creditors will not be able to come after them through a lawsuit. Marital agreements. Creating a binding prenuptial or postnuptial agreement can be an easier way to avoid additional heartache and stress when the time comes that you need to file for divorce. While no one gets married with the expectation that it will turn into a divorce, a marital agreement can save you and your spouse time that you would spend potentially debating and negotiating on the distribution of your marital assets. Medicaid planning. If you have or are at high risk of contracting a medical condition that can require long-term medical care in the future, exploring the possibilities of Medicaid asset protection planning can be a good idea. With the right Medicaid asset protection strategy, you might be able to retain eligibility while not having to spend down your assets or be subject to penalties due to Medicaid's look-back period. Estate planning. When you pass away without a will, where your assets go is determined by Texas's intestacy laws. Giving assets to people that are not in the heirship hierarchy can be extremely difficult. Even with a will, additional probate litigation and challenges may lengthen the amount of time before your beneficiaries can get their inheritance. While Texas does not impose estate or inheritance taxes, federal estate tax liability may still be applied to the estate before assets are distributed to the heirs. Having an updated estate plan can also be beneficial should you become incapacitated or unable to make decisions about your assets on your own. A power of attorney can ensure that your wishes are honored not just regarding your care but also regarding the management of your estate and assets. Contact us today and schedule a consultation with top-rated Houston asset protection planning attorney Whitney L. Thompson. The law office of Whitney L. Thompson is a firm dedicated to our goal of protecting our clients' best interests while providing quality legal services in matters of estate planning and asset protection. Experienced asset protection and estate planning lawyer Whitney L. Thompson has provided Houston clients with personalized strategies that allow them to reap the fruits of their hard work and pass on their legacy to their loved ones. Reach out and contact our firm today at 281-214-0173 for a consultation with skilled Houston asset protection planning lawyer Whitney L. Thompson.